Okay. So thank you very much for applying for a position at Flow. We are really excited that you'd like to join the team. And I guess we would like to start with a brief introduction. If you could tell us a little bit more about yourself, that would be really helpful.
Yes, thank you a lot. I'm very happy to be here today for the interview. In my previous position, I was a digital product director. So my goal would be to unlock the hidden potential of the content and make it work both for the business goals that we have at the time and for the goals of our subscribers. So I worked for the business content subscription with 50,000 paying customers. And I must say that for the last 12 years, I was involved in content creation and design, starting with my role as a chief editor of the print magazine. Then after my transition to tech and digital media, where I would be creating user-centric content for the customers and clients and lead content creation teams of minimum 5 and maximum 25 people. Mm-hmm. So my main goal would be first to build the processes around content creation, do the discovery for the content and experience products, mm-hmm. motivate the team, and basically do the full life cycle of content creation from discovery end to end to the delivery and analytics. So we would know what part of the content works well for the business and for the customers.
Got it. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, how would you like me to do it? Would you like me to give you feedback straight away? And again, given we have time, you can practice it a lot, just one more time if you wish.
It's up to you. What do you think would be more efficient if we go like a question and the feedback right after, or we will do the questions first and then you will give the full feedback for the whole session?
Yeah, I guess let's take it question by question. Again, let me reiterate that I am gonna send you everything, all of my comments after the session anyway, but let's take it one by one. And specifically with tell me about yourself, given we have time, I would like to share a little framework with you. And I would like you, if you need like a moment or two to, gather your thoughts, like maybe write something down, feel free to take this time. But I'd like to share a framework with you, and I would like you to try and use it. So I think in your in the answer that you just gave me, we know that you have an amazing experience. However, I didn't feel like you let that experience shine. So I would like to share, the framework is called present, past, and future. And I kind of feel you were trying to do to make it happen, but something didn't connect. So I would like you to start off by, first and foremost, reintroduce yourself. It's okay if you say, well, as you know, my name is Lydia, or in your case, my name is Vita. Currently, or my latest role has been that of I've been doing my latest role, or currently I am a chief editor, I'm this and that, I'm a female founder, etc., etc. So just give me a little bit of understanding as to where you are right now. And I know in your case, you're looking for a job, so maybe it will be worth just briefly mentioning your very last position. I just resigned 6 months back, or 1 year back, I resigned from a position of blah, blah, blah. Then give me this overview. We're moving on to the past section, right? Give me this overview of what you did in the past. And I think you did a great job of summarizing it with one phrase, I have 12 years of professional experience. So you can start off with that, giving me this umbrella, umbrella understanding, and then delving into the experiences that you feel are worth mentioning for this particular position. you don't need to go into them very deeply. You can just say that like overall I have 12 years of experience within the space of content creation and so on and so forth. My most notable experiences were as like, or just like you said, right? My very first role was that of a chief editor at XYZ and so on and so forth. So like maybe point out those to me that are most relevant from your past. And then for the future, and I think again, like you did mention those things, but I just feel I felt there wasn't like logical flow. And for the future, I'd like to do XYZ. And when you name this XYZ, obviously, well, you need to do a little bit of background research on the employer, right? And so try and connect this XYZ that you would like to have in the future with the wants and the needs of, in this particular case, flow, right? Like in the future, I'd like to continue leading like teams and understanding the most powerful content through means of, I don't know, digitization and so on and so forth. So the more you show how much your aspirations are aligned with the needs and the requirements of the employer, well, the better for you. You stated your goal, and I really like that. So just keep it going. Just like I guess like what I'm trying to say is that you had all the right elements. Let's just reshuffle them. Start with the present, like very briefly, 1 or 2 sentences, then move on to the past, telling me a little bit about your past experience, highlighting the most relevant ones, and then give me like bridge this to the future state.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
If you need a moment or two, take your time, like a couple of minutes to write your thoughts down or something. Give it I'm happy to give it a second, and let's give it another try.
I mean, in real-time interview, I wouldn't be given a chance even to start again and to make some notes. But anyway, let me try to.
Sure. Yes, true. But in the real-time interview, you come to this interview like having nailed this question, right? Like
yeah,
like this.
Down, yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, as you know, my name is Vita. I currently based in London. I came here a couple of months ago, and now I'm actively looking for a job that would first help me to integrate into London life and society, and at the same time to fulfill my professional aspiration to be a creator of the meaningful content.
Mm-hmm.
As you probably know from my CV, that I have 12 years of experience in content creation and content design, starting with the role of chief editor of the Vietnamese magazine for young professionals, where I was trusted with the big project of launching a magazine from scratch. Then I have a shift towards digital media and edtech, and where I mastered my skill set for content creation and leadership. I had a team of over 15 people, and we were more focused on creating e-learning programs and content about soft skills for C-level suite and middle managers. At my most recent role at RBC Pro, that is a business content subscription service for entrepreneurs and managers, I was a digital product director, and my main focus was coming up with new ideas of monetization for the content that we have, trying to find new tools and new formats to unlock the hidden potential of the content that we were creating for the subscribers as a digital media. Because it was kind of a startup within a huge media holding, we were experimenting with different formats and digital products. So my main idea would be to discover the pain points of our subscribers and try to find the best business solution, how we can reintroduce or repurpose our content from the subscription and to repackage it into digital e-learning products that will meet their goals and that at the same time will help us as a business to upsell or to diversify our revenue streams and to make them more engaged with the initial subscription and with other, let's call them like byproducts of what we did, like different micro-learning courses that we used with the chatbot technology, and other ways like online events, paid newsletters, and other forms of content that would be the best way to deliver the expertise they were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Floor is a great company to work for because I really like the mission to empower women with the knowledge about their health and their body, about their cycle. And I, as an active user of Floor app, I can see how much work the team has been doing and how much knowledge every woman, every like girl can get from the application. And I see that my expertise in content creation and that my passion about lifelong learning and the amount of courses and other applications I use or like other courses I finished can help me to bring more different perspectives to the content design team and help them thrive with new ideas.
Okay. Thank you very much. This was, I could hear that it was harder to you because I put you on the spot and I gave you a framework that I guess like wasn't familiar to you. Kudos for trying. Overall, again, like this all just takes a little bit of practice, and trust me, you just need to first like outline for yourself, like in your head or on a sheet of paper, like you need just to sit down and outline the things that you will be talking about, because like this is the question that like I can predict with 100% accuracy. You will encounter in every interview, right? Like it all starts with you introducing yourself. So don't worry. I'll give you like a couple of points to think about. I'll send them your way, but don't worry. By the time you get to the interview stage, you'll have it nailed. Like I am sure about that. So I think overall, we aim for this question to be, or for your answer rather, to be not longer than a couple of minutes. This was something closer to like 5 minutes. And I understand, again, I know that I just gave you the framework and you were trying to implement it on the go. So no worries, just for future reference, try and keep it within 2 minutes. After all, it's just an introduction. You just want to give me this like high level understanding of who you are, what you've done professionally in your life, and what your aspirations are and where your priorities lie. So that's one thing. I liked the present part. Thank you for reintroducing yourself. That was helpful. I guess like I like the part, a little bit of personal part where you said that like I've moved to London, like I moved to London a couple of months back and things like that. That was good. You could make it a little bit shorter. You could just like briefly mention that I just moved to London. Like it's been a couple of months that I moved to London. And in my previous job, my very last job, it was in Russia and I did XYZ. then I think like you did a better job of like highlighting, giving me an overview and a helicopter view of your past. Good. Again, like I would say that there were some unnecessary details, but again, like you will know how to get rid of them as you continue practicing this question. Or maybe just one thing. It's unnecessary to say things like, as you know from my CV, just because I would say, well, people might not know that, like, you know, there's a chance that like the hiring manager shows up to the meeting, you know, having read your CV just once and like long ago, and he or she doesn't remember what is written on your CV. And they may know or they may not know like what's on your CV. So let's not like talk about it. Let's like essentially you're walking them through your CV. Yeah, by the way, like another way how this question may be phrased is walk me through your CV, right? So you're walking them through your CV anyway. So do not mention things like, as you know from my CV, like it's unnecessary. In your future part, you started answering the second question that I had, and I am gonna ask you this question again anyway. But you started answering the "Why do you want to work for us?" question. Whereas I think in your self introduction, we would want you to, okay, it's okay to do that, but I would insist on you doing it a little bit more in a more subtle way, right? You could say something like, you know, like you did your research and you know that Flow is looking for someone who uses, I don't know, digital methods to create content or something. I'm just making things up. And you can say, in the future, I would like to continue leading teams in the content space. What is more, I'm very passionate about digitizing content production, and I am looking for a space where I can develop the skill set and also like bring my skills to the table for the company that needs it. Something like that. Mm-hmm. That way you show that like you create this link, you kind of like, you know, like our aspirations align, but you're not, you know, you do it in a more subtle way, and you also like open up the floor for more questions, right? Rather than, yeah. Because now I'd like to I'd like to ask you why you'd like to work for us. And even though you did kind of answer this question already, I would like you to still like reiterate like what brings you to Flow.
Thank you for this question. And I must say that, first of all, I'm an active Flow user. So I really like the application, and that although in the score it's a period tracker, but I guess that most of the value that the users get from the app is knowledge about their own body and about their cycle and how to build their routine and like their sport activities. I don't know, like knowing what their body needs right now. I always driven by the idea that I can combine my passions and work. So because I'm very passionate about lifelong learning and about learning about women's health in particular, I really like the idea that I can do my work and bring all my expertise to the table for the company I'm working at, and at the same time learn what I'm passionate about right on the spot. So for me, being a part of the team who creates content for users and who have to dive into the women's health knowledge is kind of the best combination right now. I don't know. Let's finish here.
Okay. All good. Breathe.
So for me, I like to sum up. I really like the mission of Flow to empower women with knowledge about their body and health, and give them all the necessary tools and to learn more about who they are and what they need to consider about their health in the most user-friendly and easy to get way, so they don't need to go to the doctors or something, that some basic knowledge that they probably lack from somewhere else, they can just get it here in the app.
Thank you very much. Okay, so this one, and don't worry, again, like breathe, it's all good. This question is a tricky question in terms of this question is not about you. This question is about the employer. In this question, the way to stand out whilst answering this question is to show how profoundly you understand what they do. And you did do parts of it, but one thing that I was missing is you bringing it home, i.e. bringing it back to what you are a professional in and showcasing this to me. So essentially what I'm trying to say, this question is, why do you want to work for us? It's not really about, like, it's good to bring this personal element and say, I really like, by the way, that you say that you're an active user, because it creates this like personal connection. I know that you've used the product, you've interacted with it, right? Like you've seen pros and cons of the product. So like I'm listening, I'm interested. One thing that I'm missing is that you can also turn to your professional space and then start giving me examples. So it all comes down to the research that you do on the company, and the research you can do by either surfing online, obviously, or talking to people who are like who work for the company already, right? So you can start off with this like more personal and personalized answer, right? Opening being like, oh, I'm an active user myself. I'm very driven by your mission of empowering women, giving them ample information about their bodies and how they change, and all that is good. The next stage could be you talking about their like content strategy, right? Like then you can say something like, I know that Flow has been investing in, the examples that I come up with, like they may not do anything with real life, but I just to showcase, to show the point, to prove the point. You can say something like, I've seen, or like I've talked to people from Flow, or like I've done my research on the internet and I could see how much you spend, how much you digitize the content, how much you work on the content, etc., etc. And given my background in content management, editing, and all things content, I would really like to become a part of a team that is revolutionizing, or that is like streamlining, or that is creating a digital product, a huge part of which is content, or something along those lines. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was just like thinking, like if I would, after the personal touch, like being of me saying that I'm an active user and that I'm driven by the mission of the company, can I go with the point that in my personal view, I think that like any application or SaaS platforms that give their clients or their users content, or user-centric content, they can learn a lot from media, and because media for like years would be focused on creating content that is useful and that is oriented towards the needs of the audience, and at the same time their product is content. So they treat the content as an asset, as a product itself, and that's why they know for sure how to create it, how to market it, and how to deliver it the best way that it actually engage the users. And and given my background in media for like over 12 years, I mastered my understanding of what are the best practices in media work that can be easily transferred and implemented in content-centered applications like Flow. And if I don't know like, whether it's a good tactic or not, but I don't want to point out the flaws that I can see in flow application right now, but I can tell that sometimes, and as I talk to some of the current flow employees, that sometimes the team puts a lot of effort and time into creating some new, let's say like ventures or like products within the application, but the result is not there yet, just because they probably lack some expertise or just didn't know for sure how to make this product stand out to the subscribers and how to deliver that in a way that they actually use what they've created. So for me now, I can just tell that, I mean, I can give some examples how some of the content within the application can be improved, but even without going into the details, I can tell that there is always room for perfection and just to kind of to leverage the work of the team in a way that the final user can get the maximum benefit from the content that they've created.
I think you're going in the right direction for sure. So yeah, like you said, start off with a personal touch. Then yes, go into the space that you're recruiting for. And I think what you said is right. Let's just maybe you had a question, right? If this is like the right way of positioning this.
For me, it's just like I'm not really sure that it's a good idea just to kind of point it out what is already not that great about the product when I'm still the outsider. So I don't really know whether I have a right to actually criticize or giving the feedback that they've never asked for.
I think it's all about, yes, I understand, and I understand your concern. I think it's just how you phrase it, right? You can say something like, do you know the technique called the shitty sandwich technique?
Yeah, and I personally hate it just because people don't really hear the best parts, the praising. They just concentrate on the critics.
I guess what I'm trying to say is just do not dwell on the negatives. Do not make them sound very negative. What you could say is something like, a big part of the platform is content, right? Because Flow is all about, again, like you said, right, empowering women, giving them access to knowledge. As someone who's worked in content for 12 years, I know the ins and outs of content, and I'd be keen to bring, my expertise to Flow, because like I feel like, and then you can like finish it off with like on a very positive note, right? Like, so you don't necessarily need to criticize. You can offer a couple of suggestions. You can say, for instance, like one thing that I mentioned is that team is currently not doing, so instead of saying, oh, they're bad, they're not doing XYZ, right? Like they are not, I don't know, whatever, right? They're not doing this. Or I saw an attempt at doing that, but I feel this attempt could be even stronger, even better if they added ABC, right? And as someone who's worked in content for 12 years, I would be happy to offer my expertise to Flow. You see what I'm saying, right? It's just about phrasing, right? It's, you guys are doing a great job. I am just an expert, and I bring the expert view. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, great. But yeah, the key point here, it's never about you, it's about them, and it's about the research that you do. And again, if you know about like a particular project, some specifics of the company, you can always bring it up. Like, I know that like what is currently in the works is this project like on blah blah blah, and I would like to jump in and like offer my expertise because I've done similar things and the results were like blah blah blah, and now like I think Flow can greatly benefit from my skills and knowledge, or something along those lines. Okay, now moving on, I would like you to tell me a little bit about a time when you led a team on a complex project. And feel free to take some time to compose your thoughts.
Okay, let's try this one.
I'm all ears.
First, I must say that in my most recent role at the business content subscription service, I would be the person to initiate new ventures and come up with fresh ideas how to monetize the content that we already created. So that's why I have quite a few situations and projects that were really complex when I have to come up with the idea, but at the same time to motivate and lead the team to delivery of this project. But I think like one example I want to mention here is when after the M&A of two companies, when we merged with online school and e-learning platform, I have to come with an idea how to merge two content creation teams, and first to share our principles and our benchmarks of creating content with the new team, and at the same time build this collaborative working environment so we can actually share our expertise and create something really great together. Although the new team were not officially reporting to me, so I need to come with an idea how to motivate them and become a part of our bigger team. So I came with an idea to create a joint product, a digital MBA program, and to leverage the expertise of two teams. I talked to the team leaders of a new team, gathering ideas what they have about the new product and trying to have this weekly check-ins with both teams to come up with the best ideas for the product, to allocate the tasks and to synchronize our actions. So, for example, sales and customer success team from a new company would be showing what they know best, because we never had an expertise in those two domains. And my content creation team would work closely with the content creation team of the new company. And in this way, we will first, I already know that it's getting too long. Yeah, so
it's your very first try. All good.
Yeah, so for me, the first challenge would be to build trust with a new team, because they never worked with us, and of course after M&A they were kind of scared of new management. So for me it would be a big challenge to learn more about what they're good at, to motivate them to speak up and share what they know, and to show that we are here to leverage their expertise, not to kick them out of the company or to change the way they work completely. And at the same time to build the process of content creation from 0 to 1 with a completely new organizational structure. That's why I would build the framework, we'll do the workshops for both teams, so where not only me, but all the team members would share their ideas and share best practices that we have from content creation. And as a result, we built a new program that lasted 6 months, that was partly pre-recorded videos where we used our repackaging framework from my team, and at the same time we add some live streaming events with experts from the new company and their mentors. And it only took us 3 months to create the team from scratch, the product from scratch, and it was 3 months earlier than we expected and planned. And I guess the success of the product and that the first cohort was sold out after first week was mainly the result of our collaborative work with the sales team of a new company, just because I asked them what they need to sell better. We prepared the selling materials like presentations, the selling points, and key features so they can focus on them when talking to the potential customers and do the job better. My God, that's so bad.
That's okay. After all, it's a mock interview. So again, no stress, but let's take some points to work on. Well, yeah, first and foremost, it needs to be crispy, right? Like a crisp answer is what we're looking for. And by saying crisp, it's funny because you were kind of going through the STAR methodology, the STAR framework, and kudos for that. Like, I would say not only is it good to use this framework, it is expected. I kid you not. In my personal interviews, sometimes one day I received an interview invite, and the hiring or the HR person clearly mentioned, we expect you to use the STAR methodology in your answers. Like, so it is, encouraged. So kudos on, like, at least, so now it's just a matter of like practicing. So yeah, being crisp is the name of the game, because when you started talking about your actions, you lost me there. I think so the situation and the task part of it, you could make it even more concise. It shouldn't take longer than like 20% of your overall answer. And again, like every answer we give, we try to fit it within like 3-ish minutes, right? Like, so 20% of that would be okay, you got me.
Yeah.
Not so long. The 40 seconds. Yeah, exactly. So situation and task, like before you started describing the situation, you gave this like little like interlude. You could skip it, right? Like just say, in my role as XYZ at company ABC, I was in charge of like, OPQ. And so the situation was like, we were going through an M&A process with another team. I personally was involved with creating the new content strategy, as well as thinking about how to motivate the new team. They were not directly responsible to me, so I needed to find indirect ways of, them getting involved and being, happy at their work once again, right? Very, very quickly. Oh, you don't need to be as quick as I just did, but like the intent is like this, okay? Like just paint the picture a little bit and leave it there. Now, when it comes to actions, one thing I heard you use a lot was we. It's not we. I'm not hiring your entire team. I'm hiring you. So either speak exclusively about your actions and say, I did this, I did that. However pretentious that may sound to you. And I know the point is, I haven't done this. I didn't do it on my own. We had a team, and it was not like a solo effort. It was a unified effort. I hear you. I understand. But the rest of your team are not being interviewed for the role. You are, right? So focus on I and focus on your actions. So you said that like you had to challenge, and then like you added those challenges. And when you started adding challenges, I think you started like focusing on challenges without giving me the actions. So if you want to focus on the challenges, you can say, so my very first challenge was to build trust with the new team. And for that, I did 1, 2, 3. Another challenge that I had was building the content process, right? Like building it from zero, the process of content creation from 0 to 1 is what you said, right? And for that, I did 1, 2, 3, right? So again, just like a little bit crisper. If there is a challenge or if there is an action, like just one sentence of content, then actions, 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 because essentially like you're selling yourself through these actions. So do not hesitate and do not shy away from talking about your actions. There's always a balance between how much you talk, like how much time it takes, and how much in detail you go, of course, yes. But the actions and the results are the key focus of all the tell me about a time when questions. So do not shy away. Use I, not we. And as much action, as many actions as you can give me, the more the better in a way. Yeah. And by the way, the results were good. You said the team, you created the product from scratch within 3 months, and that was 3 months ahead of schedule. Wow, right? You can even you can make it this point stronger by saying like we halved the time it took to create a product. Like normally it takes 6 months. We were able to achieve it in 3 months with the team that were not friends, that barely knew each other like 3 months back, right? Like you can reiterate, you can a little bit dramatize it, right? It's okay. After all, you're selling yourself. It's okay to, spice it up with a little bit of drama here and there. So it's fine. Clear? Any questions here?
No, it's clear.
Perfect. Let's try another tell me about a time question. Again, focus on star, less on the ST, more on the AR part of it. No we, but I. Focus on your actions and on your results. So tell me about a time when you had a disagreement with a client or someone in the team who is more senior than you.
Oh my God, I have only bad examples, I guess. Oh my God, I can't come up with any idea.
Okay, no worries. I have another, one last question for you. So just maybe keep this question in mind again, it will be a part of the feedback that I'm going to send to you. So have a think.
I just can I just ask a question about the question?
Sure.
Is it the question? I mean, I do understand that it's about behavior and how I handle conflict with a team, especially with senior stakeholders. But is it better to find an example about some conflicts around the product and the process of content creation, or it can be kind of not personal disagreement, but some kind of interpersonal conflict that I have to handle. For example, if I had a toxic colleague and I need to come up with an idea how to handle this conflict without affecting our working environment.
I mean, good question. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, because I mean, for the first situation, I mean, I would probably come up with an idea about how we actually work on this digital MBA product, and that we have some kind of different working cultures. The new team was more like a startup fast-paced environment, and we were more more in a way more traditional media company. And there was kind of a clash of working cultures, and we need to find a way how to balance it out. It's one thing, but actually I don't like whether it's a good example or not, because we will just prove that our way was better. That would probably, in the case of Flow, not a good example, because they are a startup. And for the,
no, go on.
And for the second situation, it would be more like me trying to find a way how to find a common ground with a person I was not really getting along together, just because we have different leadership styles. So I would just come up like to him, saying, like, actually to have a private conversation, just telling how I feel about him talking to me in the way that he talked, and try to understand how I see the situation. And actually it helped me to build better relationship with him, because he just never thought that his words and his way of treating people in a team would actually hurt anyone's feeling and would create a tension within a team. So I don't know, like, which of two approaches works better for this kind of question.
Sure. So again, a good question. Let me just take a step back and say that going into any interview, you should reread the job description to kind of frame yourself into what it is that they're looking for, right? So this particular question came off the back of the job description, because in the job description, I'll post it in the chat right now, but they have a requirement. Is there a chat function here? Or maybe there's no chat function. I can read it out loud, don't worry. So in the job description for content design lead at Flow, they have a bullet point that states, we need you to have a track record of building strong relationships with senior stakeholders. They say from product managers to researchers, analysts to engineers, legal to marketing, and of having exerted influence on those senior stakeholders in order to generate excellent user experiences. Having read that, I would probably think that the first example that you gave me would be more suitable. So I think it's about both answers. You know, there's a world in which there are two different worlds, I should say, that like in which either of the answers would be like a good example, right? I think for this particular part, the first one that you gave me would be a better idea. But I think anyway, like my whole point is like try and put yourself in the shoes of the employer or the hiring manager for that matter, and then think of what is it that they're asking. And if you remember, and you don't need, obviously you don't need to learn the job description by heart, but if you hopefully, like if you reread the job description before walking into the interview, it will give you an idea of what it is that they are looking for in you. Yeah. But again, I think both exist, right? Like both can coexist. In worst case, like if you are unsure as to which one to use, then go ahead with the story that you feel is more powerful, that shows you in the better light. So if in doubt, again, you're selling yourself after all. So the one that you think, sheds a better light on you, use that one. Okay? Sweet. Okay, so like let's park that one, let's table it, but do think about it, and also like maybe write out the two stories. One tip for you and for everyone who will be watching the recording after, the key to interview preparation is to have like 5-7 stories at hand, and then just know how to pivot them right according to the question, because like the same story can be a story about handling conflict, but also like exerting leadership and doing this and doing that, right? It's all about, well, Vita knows everything about it. It's all about the stories we tell. So just know how to tell your story from different angle, right? So we're tabling that one. Moving on to the very, very last one. Sometimes there are questions in the interview, and I had this experience myself, when people just, instead of asking those more like theoretical, like behavioral type of questions, they start digging deeper into your CV. And also like keep in mind and especially if you had career breaks, things that didn't match, things when you like abruptly, not necessarily in your case, Vida, but again, for everyone's benefit, where you like abruptly ended like one job and you started another one, like I don't know, you only spent like 3 months or 4 months in the previous job and then you decided to move on, right? This might, I once was rejected from a job because the guy who interviewed me thought that like me moving from one job to another was too abrupt or something like that. And like, he didn't see the reason in why I did that. I'm like, okay, well, and maybe that's a point to myself, you know, maybe I didn't make it clear for him as to why, what was driving me, because I'm sure he was just confused or concerned rather that I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do, like in my next endeavor. And maybe I'm guessing he thought like, oh, like she tends to move quickly between jobs. Like, what if this job is just yet another job for her, and she's going to spend like 5 months and then move on, right? So coming back to the CV, this one is not going to be like a very tricky one, but just keep in mind that sometimes they start digging deep into your CV, and get ready for them. But this one in particular will be the following one. So from your CV, I can see that whilst at RBC, you helped the company pivot from physical product to a digital product. Could you walk me through that experience, please?
Yes, you asked me about my experience in a synchronized e-learning platform. So I joined the company when there was no digital unit at all. So it was 100% offline business. I joined for the role as a chief operation director, and my main goal was to grow the amount of events that we can execute every month, and to build the whole framework, how to make it effectively and without compromising on the quality of events, and still drive the engagement of our clients. After 6 months into the role, I facilitated the growth from 30 to 120 events monthly, and we were managed to get the growth of customer visits from 1,500 to 5,000 visits per month. But we got to the bottleneck of our revenue and customer growth, because since we already had 2 physical halls to handle our events, we couldn't really expand the number of events, because we have a limited pool of speakers. And it was really time consuming to find new speakers or to educate new ones. So it would be a good strategy for the long-term development, but to make money here and now, we need to find another solution. So at that point, I came up with an idea to go online. And for now, in 2024, it sounds like a very logical idea and the only solution we can come up with. But at 2018, it wasn't that obvious. And for 100% traditional offline business, to go online with courses in arts, architecture, cinema, and science was still a novelty in Russian market. So to test the idea, I initiated the creation of MVP, like a set of online courses on the most popular topics with our current offline customers. I was fully responsible for the discovery, development, content creation, and delivery. And I have to collaborate closely with our subject matter experts, with methodologists, learning experience designers, video productions, to come up with this first set of 5 courses that we test. And for me, as a person in the role of chief operation manager, it was just the next step of my career development, that I would come up with ideas of building engaging products and finding new ways of making money to meet the business goals. And at that time, it was transferring the business from offline to online. So it was a good business solution, especially before it happened, just before, like a year before COVID. So during COVID, when I already left the company, I still had really good relationship with CEO and founders, and they said that it was a brilliant idea back in the time, because for COVID, it was the only way for them to operate. And even after first year, it already helped to earn like 15 or 20% of annual revenue for the company. And during COVID, it was just 100%. And they had even had a chance to bring some investor on board and expand the business after that. And now it exists only online.
Got it. Good. So I think
it's too long.
It's okay. Again, you'll get there. I think like the like one of the tips that I can give you is start out by writing down those stories, or at least like, you don't need to, write them out like word by word, but just like mentioning S for situation, right? Like ABC, like very quickly, like 2-3 words, right? Just like to remind yourself of the situation, task. And then when you start practicing, the more you practice, the better you know your stories, the quicker you will see, right? Especially you with your content past, like you will see which parts you can cut, which parts do not make sense, which parts you need to expand on, etc., etc. So it's all fine. I think I could hear you were using I more often. Kudos, amazing, great job. You almost kind of forgot or something, like stutter about the part where I wanted to hear the results, and you almost skipped it, and then you kind of, or so it felt. At the end, you were like, oh, I need to also mention the results. But the results themselves are very impressive, right? Like, I think it's a very powerful statement that you guys thought about that product and made it real way ahead of COVID. So when COVID hit, you were like, ooh, we are good, right? I think this is very powerful. Like, do talk to me about that. So yeah, I think like the onset, when you were talking about like how at first you started growing the offline presence, it's not really relevant, because I'm asking you about like how you pivoted to the digital product, right? So you could just mention you came on board, the main product was the fully physical product, and after a period of trying to ramp it up to grow the physical product, where you had some success, right? Like you grew the number of events, the number of visitors grew from 1,500 to 5K. You hit the wall. You understood that there was like a glass ceiling that you were not able to break, right? Like very, very quickly. Like everything that you said, I think makes sense, but just like cut the unnecessary parts. Like I think it's good that you introduced the reason as to why the digital product came about. But when talking about physical, I almost started like, again, thinking that like, anyway, like the beginning was a little bit too long, and I thought like the story was going in one direction and then you derailed it. So that confused me a little bit. Make it shorter. At the same time, it's good if you would like, you can mention those results that you had with physical product, because I think they're also impressive, but just make it like a more concise part. And then again, like action, action, action. The use of I was good. The use of, like, you told me a lot about your action. That was good too. And yeah, just don't forget about the results. Yep.
Yeah.
This is us. That's it for now. Again, we'll send you this feedback in written form. I need to clean it up a little bit, so expect to hear from me like by end of day tomorrow, probably. But overall, again, this is why we do that, right? Like, this is why we do mock interviews, like trial runs. The first time you do it, it sucks, and you suck. And I know, because I've been doing it myself. The first time I sit down to reply to a seemingly easy question, I feel so lost. And I'm like, oh my God, my answer takes 1 hour and everyone has left and I'm still answering the question. So it's all right. It's just a matter of like writing down your stories and then practicing, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to practice. First time ever.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. Hopefully not the very last time. Thank you for joining and being our volunteer. Yes. And you will also see the recording on our YouTube, so you can always revisit if you forget some of the feedback that I gave you. You can always revisit the recording.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. Have a great evening then.
Yeah,
I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.